He was very neglectful of actual work.
So he's lazy. We figured the real problem out.
He was Redditing instead of doing his job.
Basically.
Who cares?
I am a huge slack ass.
So you're lazy too? What is this?
He was allowed to do whatever he wanted to do. Nobody would course correct him.
So that sounds like it's not even necessarily his fault.
I was on his team for a league tournament. He screamed at our team.
Oh my god, he was toxic playing League of Legends?
He apparently urgently needed to move out of his dad's house. So I was like, hey!
Hey Thor, I know we've had really bad experiences because you're so f***ing lazy all the time, but do you want to move in with me?
There's also the few people who want to speak out.
Speak out about what? You told us he was a bad roommate and then he moved out. What's to come forward about?
He's very charismatic.
He was just kind of irritating.
What? You just said he was charismatic. You let this guy talk you into changing your whole perspective. She quit her job at Blizzard to be a VTuber, okay? She's trying to get Twitch followers by talking about drama. What a dumb way to do it. I'm kind of curious about this. People keep mentioning it. It's just Pirate Software's ex-roommate speaks out. I don't know how much of this is just like silly gooning, honestly. It just so it almost seems like dogpiling to me. To be honest with you, but I don't know, maybe there's something here. I'm just curious to take a look at it just for the fun of it, honestly. I can't imagine that there's anything like meaningful in here, but I want to see it.
An ex-coworker and roommate of Pirate Software. Now, you guys saw the first part of that interview last week when I talked about the Twitch terms of services. This person had worked at Twitch for 8 years, as well as working at Blizzard.
Oh my god, wait, there's a part 1 to this? Why? Is there a whole conversation posted somewhere? I don't think I care enough to watch whatever part 1 there is.
Alongside Pirate Software. I figured the information was so different from the beginning of our interview to the end of it that I wanted to separate it between 2 separate parts. And I apologize for this one not coming out sooner, which if you want more info on that entire
it's clickbait. Choose the ex-coworker. What does that mean?
debacle, check out my last video. But we go into detail from Pirate Software, even on his first day on the job, apparently just browsing Reddit. For a man that says that he
Who cares?
didn't get his job through nepotism the second time, which is when this would have taken place, it doesn't really line up.
And like, this is kind of my whole career, right? My first job, I got through nepotism, 100%. My dad worked at Blizzard for 23 years. Then I came back to Blizzard in 2009, and I applied, not having his help in any way. I got the job.
More than that, though, we dive into the roommates' experiences and how they only ended up lasting about a week before putting their foot down and saying that Pirate needed to leave. But with all of that out of the way,
Did he leave? Like, what? Okay.
just last 2 things. Number 1, shout out to my parents and my brother and my fiance's parents as they grouped together and got this really cool neon sign, which unfortunately flickers. So I don't know if you guys will see it in another video,
Why
but
don't you just buy your own neon sign? They got together? You guys poor? What's happening here?
it looks really sick. Special thank you to them. They got it
It's okay.
as a surprise because the channel's been doing well recently. So thank you again to all of you if you're watching. And lastly,
Alright,
if you're
cool.
new here, consider subscribing. It really helps out trying to hit 100K by the end of the year. We're about to hit 80, which is insane. But just that single press of a button helps me a great deal. And if you end up hating me later, it's just another button tap away. Also, liking the video helps out. So if you find the information in this video useful, give it a thumbs up, get other people to see it. But regardless of if you do any of that, thank you for watching. Nice to meet you. If you could just kind of give your name and then just kind of your experience with Twitch and just kind of your experience with Pirate, everything in between that you think would be relevant to what we're going to talk about today.
Hi, my name's Cynthia Hall. I go by Ludiana Online. I am a lifelong artisan cosplayer. I worked for 5 years at Blizzard and then 8 years at Twitch.
There better be something good in this fucking conversation for us to like. Oh, there is a whole conversation here. All right, we'll watch this. And okay. So seems like this is the first part of it, and then the other video he posted earlier was the second part, because this is like the beginning of the interview, and then it goes into the blah 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 whatever, and then it goes into the rest in the other video he posted earlier. What? I don't know, man. I don't like Pirate Software, but some of this seems so fucking weird. It feels like we've almost crossed the line. I don't know. Okay, whatever. Let's see what she says.
And I happen to work with Pirate Software at Blizzard as his Wrangler on Diablo 3.
Really quick, number 1, you share last name, but number 2,
What is his Wrangler?
So what is that? What does that mean to be a Wrangler for someone during? So you said it was during Diablo 3 testing?
Yes.
Are you saying that like you were his manager?
Basically, what happened is we share the same last name. That's why I don't mind
Software?
sharing my last name. When I joined the company, they literally thought that we were related.
Yeah, you guys look related. The same haircut. How old is fucking Pirate Software there?
Because I
Oh, she's a quality assurance analyst. Okay, so is she okay?
have a couple of years on him, so they thought that I was his older sister. And they thought that
Did you guys kiss? That'd be hot, but only if you really were brother and sister. Am I right, guys?
with me coming in, I could potentially handle him, and he would be less of a
What him?
that with me coming in, I could potentially handle him, and he would be
I don't know what. Oh, enable him. For some reason, the audio cut out. So they thought that they were related, so they thought that it would be enabling. Gotcha.
less of a problem if we were working together.
So
this was a thing that I had to clarify like day one of me moving
What the fuck?
on.
Oh, Tangled.
So
That's
this
cool.
was the assumption was, oh, okay, they're siblings. She can kind of tune.
Yes. And he'll be less of a problem because we're related and I could go tell daddy.
That's really fun.
Oh, that doesn't make any sense at all. You'd think it'd be more of a problem, but okay. What? I don't know if I believe that. Okay, that seems the opposite of what would happen. Am I just fucking stupid? I feel like okay, whatever.
Funny with him.
Yes.
So with this, him being a problem. Now, was that unique to Pirate, or is that just to speak to every new person coming into the company?
Oh, kill him. Oh, okay. Yeah, not enable him, kill him. Okay, so I thought that they were gonna make the more normal one was like, oh, hey, if there's the same people in the family, there could be nepotism. But I guess since there's already nepotism, so. But they're saying like, oh, they think that you're his sister, so you could kill him, jokingly, obviously, if he did a bad thing. Okay.
That was speaking to him, and it was not that he was an HR violation problem. Don't get me wrong. He's very charismatic. He is easy to get along with socially. However, he was very neglectful of actual work. He
Gotcha, so he's lazy.
was
Great.
hard to rein in. He was hard to get to focus
Jesus Christ, guys, we figured the real problem out.
on anything important. Like he wanted to do.
Why? I truly wonder why she would assassinate her career for this. Like again, I'm not like a huge Pirate Software fan, but this seems over the line. No, like it seems a little bit over the line to be fucking doing this, and like also. Wouldn't this hurt your potential ability to get like get a job moving forward at Blizzard? This just seems unprofessional. It's one thing if we're all just drama gooning. It's another thing to fucking coming out with this stuff. It feels okay.
What he wanted to do, and it wasn't like he was a jerk about it. Like I don't want
He's just
to
a lazy nepo
misconstrue
baby. Okay.
that at all. I'm sure everybody has seen his streams. Like he pulls off the personality. You know,
Okay.
like he's nice to his coworkers.
Yeah.
He wanted to do
Yeah.
what he wanted to do.
When we're talking about what's important for, let's say, for instance, the Diablo 3
Like,
testing.
it's nice that she's probably not going to sensationalize, but it still makes you look kind of bad if you're coming live talking about this stuff. Like, for what's your motivation for it? You didn't like him or something, or are you trying to make your own content? Like, what's the motivation to talk about this topic publicly?
So what was the important stuff that he needed to take care of, and then what was he doing alternatively?
So I was also the person who wrote all of the test cases. He was on the monsters team with me. So we're talking dealing with all the spawns in the game, all the boss testing, having to do all the smoke tests whenever there were new builds, that just end to end, make a character run through to skeleton king kill. Like that's just testing the builds. Whatever the task was for the day, it could just be spawning different monsters and testing their affixes to see how they perform. That easy.
Okay.
But he would just kind of create a character and idle in the client and read Reddit. That's literally what he did.
Gotcha. We kind of knew that from the Dr. K thing. Okay.
He sat in front of me and I was assigning the tasks. So not only did I see the work he was not doing, I saw what he was doing instead. The entire
So you're a snitch ass bitch. Gotcha. I don't know, dude.
time.
Okay, so sorry, to clarify,
Yeah.
he was Redditing instead of doing his job, which was essentially he, instead of spawning in and just like running Skeleton King, which I know is like literally that first act, or just testing monster spawns, it was just him browsing Reddit.
Why? What?
Basically.
Who cares?
Because it was apparently too demanding of his time.
Okay. Apparently, that's your interpretation. It sounds more like he just didn't care because he's a nepo baby. I don't know. I just feel like this is just so stupid to do like a whole fucking conversation about this. You know, maybe if she wrote this out in like a short paragraph about how much of an asshole he was, fine. But this is weird. It's strange that you would risk your career for something like this. Like, I don't know what this is.
Now,
Actually, work
was
the
this
majority.
immediate? Was this a gradual onset of more Reddit or
cares,
Thor
dude?
coming out? Okay.
This was a constant. And
Wow,
it was to the point where
Me
in
when I'm on
QA,
Reddit?
we had a maximum of 2 displays. Like that was just your kit.
Okay.
You had 2 displays. If you had 3, it was because you had a Mac for testing. That's it.
Okay. I don't know
He
what that means.
requested
What
a
do I
3rd
get?
display because he claimed he needed it for his bots when he started doing some automation testing. He just wanted it to have the extra space for Reddit, YouTube,
Okay.
mail. He just wanted the extra
Cool.
space.
Okay. Totally fair.
So he got a 3rd monitor so that he could look at Reddit. Okay. Okay.
I wish I was Mimi. I am a huge slack ass, and I completely understand.
Oh, so you're lazy too? Why are you? What is this?
Like the ADHD mentality of I just need stuff, and I also
Don't steal my valor, bitch. What the fuck?
I vibe code. Like I get it. If you're compiling, if you're running bots, you probably want to do other stuff while something is running and just kind of observe the console. I get it. I know how these things work.
Is running bots mean that's like is that like loading a screen? Like right now, is this running bots? I can't do anything. I have to watch this preview so I could be doing something on the side instead. Is that what it is?
But I'm saying like this dude was legit just ignoring the tasks at him.
All right,
We would
dude, that
sit,
sucks.
like with the window divider between us.
Did this seem like something you really felt the need to talk about?
I would sit there watching my buddy, and he would watch me, and we would just be sitting
Okay.
there waiting for Jason to actually participate in the team tasks that we had been assigned.
And so why
Like-
weren't you correcting it? Like, if this was the entire way, like, I would get fired if I was doing something like that.
Yeah,
You probably wouldn't. Just to be clear, you guys like to pretend that you wouldn't really get fired. You'd probably get like a talking to, and he probably didn't because his dad was like whatever fucking CEO or something. Like, it's doesn't seem to be that big of a deal.
so that is the funny thing. I brought
Is
this
it
up
really
to
funny or no?
my specialist who sat behind me. So it was specialist, me, Thor. He said, well, you could try to escalate it, but no one's going to do anything because I've
Okay.
tried to report it before. So I talked to my manager
Okay.
and I talked to one of the department heads. Like I talked to
Cool.
the manager over the project. And I was essentially told that no one is going to do anything because of who he is.
Cool. Sucks to suck. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, okay, that sucks. Yeah, I've worked with assholes like that too. It sucks. Is this really something worth talking about? Were you that fucking worked up over it? Like,
And this has nothing to do with Joey Ray directly. Like, I want to make this very clear. I'm also friends with
also, that doesn't even make sense to me. The problem with that, the problem with the story that doesn't make any sense is that apparently they originally thought that she was his sister, and they thought that she would keep him in line if he was being lazy, which insinuates that he's been lazy previously. But then she's saying that they wouldn't do anything about his laziness because of who he was, but like that insinuates his dad doesn't care. So it doesn't really make sense. Like, which one is it? I feel like those two things counteract with each other. In one instance, the family will keep him under wraps or keep him in check. In the other instance, his family doesn't. I don't get it.
Joey Ray. Like, he is a mutual friend of friends.
Okay.
So like I've had direct interactions. I know him well enough to say he would absolutely not do anything to help Jason. Like, he is
Help?
not somebody who spoke to get him rehired. But here's how nepotism actually works, which Jason also doesn't understand. It does not look good on your future at Blizzard if you mess with an executive's son. Period. Everybody knows who Jason is. If
Okay.
you write him up, if you fire him for misconduct or otherwise, people are going to know you did it. They're not going to know.
We don't
That-
have to really write him up. You could just have a talking to him. If anything, it sounds more like unironically. So hold on a second. This is so dumb. So apparently he started working there in 2004. Did they say what year this was? And am I just not paying enough attention? Because this is so fucking dumb. I know that they assumed that they were related, but they said that she would keep him in check. So it's counterintuitive. That's number one. Number two, from what I'm seeing, is that they worked together at Blizzard since he started when he was 17 to 29. So a fucking kid's being lazy at work, and then none of the bosses even give him any reprimand at all. Because it's not like they said, like, yeah, we've given him a talking to and it wouldn't help. They just don't seem to be talking to him at all. Because they don't want to be the guy that gave a reprimand, a more official reprimand to the bosses or to the CEO's kid. So it sounds like this kid, like Tired Software, is like most kids, a lazy fucking 17-year-old who started working somewhere. Unless I have the time frame incorrect, somebody can, whatever. And they didn't get talked to because of who his dad was. That's not real. Like, I mean, how much of that makes him a shitty person? Like, yeah, he's a nepo baby, but and I understand I'm trying to get blackballed, but first of all, you can't fire him. We're escalating so much. You could talk to him. Hey, man, we noticed you're doing a little too much of this. Maybe you shouldn't do that anymore. Why does that? It's what I'm hearing, that conversation didn't exist.
Anything was actually going on. They're just gonna know you were the guy that fired Joey Ray's son, and your career's pretty much toast.
You don't have to fucking fire somebody right off the bat because they're a little lazy. Like, what?
Because
also, did he not get his work done in general, or was he just kind of lazy sometimes?
everybody in the games
He's
industry
just a fucking lazy nepo boy. I don't really care. This is so fucking stupid. Why would you even come out about this?
knows each other too. So who's going to actually do anything because Jason's doing nothing? Nobody. They're just going to let him do what he's going to do. And that's exactly what I was told. And that's exactly why Jason was allowed to form his hacks team, which is actually just exploits testing. He was allowed to do whatever he wanted to do because nobody would course correct him.
Okay.
Okay, so that sounds like it's not even necessarily his fault. Okay.
Now, what year was this when he came on for the Diablo 3? Was this the first time he was hired in?
This was when he came back. I believe this was, I think, 2011.
So 2011, so 14 years ago. So he's 38 now, so he'd be 26. Okay.
2011. Okay, so this is the second round.
Cloud is a hell of a drug, true.
Of coming in. You said, to the best of your knowledge, it was as soon as he got hired back in, he was acting exactly like that. He was not.
Yeah.
Okay. With that knowledge, I also just kind of want to touch on, so you say that he kind of created that exploitation team, not because there was a requirement for it, but just because he would not be course corrected to do anything else. And
he made whatever this team is because it got approved to be made. Like, we have to stop pretending otherwise. You know, now whether it needed to be made or not is a different conversation. But who the fuck is she? She's a QA person. What does a QA person do? Play the game? Like, there aren't QAs or game testers, no? So, like, what the fuck does she know? Do we even know if she's right about this? I don't know. He came in and then he's like, hey guys, I want to make a team of we're gonna jerk off or something. The jerk off team, we need it. It's a hentai gooning game. And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever, dude. Why would I trust her over the fact that they actually allowed him to establish this official team? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
And the reason I kind of bring this up, I'm not trying to make Thor look bad intentionally, but I'm targeting the way that you had brought this up about him being and creating that exploit team. It wasn't because he was the best to do it. It's because he's the one that wanted to do it.
My understanding is it's what he wanted to do, and he presented himself as the best candidate to do it. And I am not going to pretend to know the inner
So Thor advocated for himself, and it worked. Oh, fuck.
workings of how it came to be, because I was not part of those conversations at
So then why are you pretending it wasn't needed?
all. So I don't...
Wait, hold on. This doesn't make any sense. Because the way that she's talking now is as if it was open to deliberation on who was going to run this team. And like her story originally was they made this team unnecessarily because of him. Now the story changed to they were making this team and Thor advocated for himself and made it seem like he was the best choice, so they gave it to him. These are two different things. This whole thing is so fucking dumb.
I don't know if he actually formed the team or if the QA managers formed the team including him. It's weird calling it a hacks team. It's really not hacking. Like, it is a focused automation testing team.
Okay.
That's really what it was.
Use bots to test the reported bugs and exploits.
Okay.
Yeah, it was automation testing.
Okay.
Okay.
With that, I think we got a good understanding of what that was.
Not really. Nope.
I've kind of touched on that nepotism bit myself too, and was like, well, it's not just, oh, his dad, is like up here. It's like, well, it's not that. It's a very, you don't see it, you feel it. That's it. And the person who's, getting it is not going to notice that. So
this seems like such an the energy here is very, these people are fucking obsessed. This is weird. This is what I hate about fucking drama. Because you know what? The pirate software stuff was like fun and it was silly. Like, Thor is obviously full of himself and he's kind of a fucking dick and he needs to take more accountability on shit. Like, he needs to be like, dude, I'm fucking suck at WoW and stuff like that. Like, whatever. But you guys take it to such a degree where it becomes like so weird and almost obsessive. Now we're talking to his former employee, like she worked with him. Like, we're talking, and this is and why? What is this doing for us? What are we getting out of this? What is this? For fucking what reason? Like, and we're like, oh, he was this, and she's speculating, and she clearly she can't even keep her story straight. So it's just fucking strange as hell.
It's interesting. I'm glad we got a bit more insight on that. You guys knew each other
Why?
clearly as coworkers. Was there anything like, did you guys
kiss in the lips?
spend time playing video games or anything
smooch?
like that?
Oh yeah, geez.
Oh, yeah.
A couple things.
Oh, yeah.
So video games.
Oh, yeah.
There was actually a charity event on campus.
Whoa.
It's an Extra Life charity
What does campus mean? Is there a Blizzard campus?
that every year as Team Zerg, unofficially, Blizzard would put together our own team for donations to
Whoa, dude, that's copyright infringement. Sue her.
raise money for Children's Hospital of Orange County. And we would play games on campus for 24 hours straight. Pirate just
Whoa.
happened to participate
I don't believe that you like independently did. I'm sure that the event went on for 24 hours straight, but
in this. I was on his team for a league tournament, and he screamed at our team for apparently not gearing correctly.
well, you guys probably suck, and so does he. Like, he's an asshole. Got it. He's an asshole gamer. Okay, me too. Like, I used to fucking yell too. I'm not proud of myself. It is what it is. I'm not gonna morally condemn him for some dumbass shit that I did myself. Oh my god, he was toxic playing League of Legends? Are you fucking serious? Like, okay, cool.
To counter the other team because we were just that bad when it's not like we're
She is a girl, so she's probably a support main.
losing so severely because we all played League regularly. It was not that big of a deal, and
She probably had all luck skins. She probably had all the luck skins.
we're all sleep deprived. It was very early in the
Whoa.
morning after an overnight of playing games, and
Whoa,
we're like,
that's
seriously,
crazy.
dude, you are raging at everybody, like our entire team. He was
This feels like this feels like it didn't need to be made.
just yelling across the floor at
Crazy.
everybody.
It's a charity event, correct?
Yeah.
It was a children's charity event. And we're like, wow, we all play League, but man, like we usually only experience this stuff in League. Most of us like played League with each other at work, but this was our first time actually playing with him, especially at work.
Yep.
You know, so
Guys, you're gonna have to they picked a Vayne. You're gonna have to play Caitlyn. You didn't pick the fucking Caitlyn, dude. What the fuck? Are you playing Mordekaiser bot? Vayne counters him. What the fuck?
Right, so back then they would have had the old Mordekaiser, right? So that's I think I'm up to date on my League shit, so cool stuff.
it was a whole new experience, and the last time literally any of us played any games with him.
Crazy.
And ironically,
So
I actually
uncommon.
have something
Literally
here
gooning.
that I wanted to show you. So they
Play nice, play fair.
give us like
Your community, what does that say? Oh, it says commitment. I'm going to read it. Your commitment to play nice for 24 hours with your coworkers enabled young children with medical issues to have a fair chance at life. That probably isn't true, but okay.
these little cards whenever we do cool things at Blizzard.
Nice.
And this was related to the charity event. That was like
Okay.
thanking me for playing nice with my coworkers, and I'm like, oh wow,
If they're giving an award for that, wait, hold on. This is a real question. How many other people were being super toxic? Was this a Thor only issue, or was it because I feel like if you're getting an award for being a nice dude playing this fucking game, then it was more than just Thor being a toxic dick, and it was probably more of a work culture thing. I mean, especially considering we saw that Blizzard got in a lot of trouble for having things like a Cosby room. Like, because they were making as the jokes, and there was like sexual harassment going on at the workplace, the one where they got sued for it. I'm thinking that there's probably a toxic workplace culture that Thor was a part of. It doesn't make it okay, but if you're existing in like a toxic culture, you know, you have to ask how much of it's the culture and how much of it's like the person, the individual.
he got one of these too. So yeah, I was kind of floored when I was going through some of my work stuff.
Whoa.
Before
Like, it's probably your last work stuff. What do you do? What does she do now? That's what I'm curious about.
that had happened, and not too long after he had joined the team, I had a roommate
Whoa, me
who
too.
urgently
Okay.
had to move out. She had a family emergency. She
Sure.
could no longer like stay in the apartment. I was like,
That's,
that's cool. You know, I'll find another roommate. Panicking. Pirate joined the team, and he apparently urgently needed to move out of his dad's house for some reason. So
Damn, because he was ready to get out, dude. He's in his 20s.
Dad, I want to move out.
His dad's probably like, no, please. His dad probably wanted him to get the fuck out like ASAP, so.
anyways, I was like, hey, so
Hey, Thor, I know we've had really bad experiences because you're so fucking lazy all the time and you yelled at us playing League, but do you want to move in with me? What the fuck?
barely know you, and
All right, oh, maybe it makes sense if you really needed a person that bad, but it seems like bad form, huh?
of course I asked some people around, you know, like, so is this guy like a psycho? You know, like, is this something reasonable? You know, is he gonna trash my place if I ask him, like, you know, if he wants to rent this room from me because it was a full like bedroom plus his own private bathroom. Like it was basically
Ooh.
a split apartment
Cool.
setup. So it was ideal
Sounds
for
pretty
renting
lit.
and sharing. Like it wouldn't have been weird with Nicole
I
coming
go down
over
here?
or anything. Like it would have been fine. And I knew Nicole as well, and she was perfectly normal human being.
Nicole
So-
being, sorry, who?
Nicole, I believe, is the girl he ended up marrying.
Oh,
Like
okay.
his ex. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, just to confirm, so
So
the
she was moving in too? Is that what it was?
timeline events, that charity thing happened a bit after, so you guys had already been rooming together, and then you did not know him prior to him going to work with you.
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Cool.
Like I barely knew who Joey Ray was at the time.
What's the timeline of events here with the moving in? Okay.
Told
whatever.
Pirate, I'm like, hey, are you really looking to rent a place? Because I had this room open. So he ended up taking me up on the offer.
Wow, really nice.
He also had a cat, and I was like, cat non-destructive, right? Like I have furniture and stuff because this is fully furnished. And he was like, yeah, totally non-destructive. I'm like, cool,
And then the cat broke stuff.
because I love cats. I have no
my
animals.
God.
Fine fit.
Oh
Great.
my God.
We're on the same team, same overtime schedule.
All right.
Amazing.
So he ends up being your roommate. It sounds really good. Every bare minimum's met, not crazy
Yeah.
girlfriend.
And then we had a life experience called living with somebody we are not equipped to live with. We don't hit a vib, some would say.
Cat that he's saying is not destructive. How does that end up pulling out? How long?
Thor would be an asshole sometimes, and his cat would meow and scratch up stuff. Like, oh fuck, who would have expected that?
Were you guys roommates for?
It took days for him to start screaming at people on Eve overnight.
Yvonne,
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Wait, so sorry, did you? Yeah, I mean that makes sense that would happen. Okay.
line. Yvonne line.
Yes.
Okay.
The cat, that's totally non-destructive. Straight up
Okay.
destroyed one of the chairs within the first week. And because it was
Crazy.
patent leather, like the polyurethane stuff,
Okay.
he offered to tape it up for me, not replace it, and also tried
That
to
sucks.
make it out like the cat never did anything to the chair, even though it was like raked and like cheese grated up.
The cat scratched the shit out of the chair. There's no
Scratched the shit out of the
right.
chair.
You can't do that any other way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was no way around it. Pretty much any time
Gotcha.
that I came home and went into the kitchen, all the dishes everywhere, like the pans, still food in them on the stove, shit everywhere, food, countertops, everything everywhere. Like it was not disgusting sty, but it was very just
Gotcha. He left dishes and he didn't do the dishes. I understand.
a
Yeah.
fucking mess. Okay.
Gotcha.
And when you're working overtime, you just want to come home, make a quick meal or whatever.
That's true. But I'm not trying to be an asshole, but you said you were on the same overtime schedule. So you're both doing the same thing, I'm assuming? Or you're like he's also working overtime or
Especially on weekends when you're not doing overtime. You don't want to have to clean up after
Yeah.
your roommate.
Yeah, so did you talk to your roommate and be like, hey, listen, like you need to do this? You kind of have to learn to advocate for yourself. Yeah.
To function in your own apartment.
Maybe we'll find out at some point that he made her lose her job. I don't
So it was just like trying to do gentle nudging, like, hey, dude, could you like be a bit better about putting away leftovers and stuff?
Okay.
Like trying to
What'd he
be
say?
diplomatic about the whole thing.
What'd he
And
say?
I'm like, the fucking combination of things, right?
What did
like
he say? What was his response?
the not letting me sleep, the cat destruction, the mess of it all.
That was happening within the first week. All of these things that you're
So it
listing.
doesn't sound like he said no. Was he a dick when you said that? Like
First week.
Okay. How
And,
long
like-
did this go on for?
Well, this made me more suspicious about what else was going on. And
Okay.
I'm not a privacy invader, but he had left the door open
so she went into his room. That's a little bit shitty. Okay.
to his bathroom. And I
That's where it
like
started, no?
just looked inside because it was in the hallway. It was like a hallway to go through to the bathroom and then his bedroom, which the door was closed, so I did not go in there. And then my bedroom. So like I just turned on the hall light and I peeked in there and the place was a fucking sty. He had never put up a shower curtain in the bathroom. There was
Okay.
like ash
That's fucking crazy.
ashy stuff everywhere, like gray ash kind
Oh,
of
shit.
looking spots everywhere.
Smoking cigarettes.
Including like in the shower, on the floors, on the
Okay.
countertops. The toilet it had been a fucking week and I could not understand the state of things. Let me just say that
poo on the toilet. What happened?
I was very concerned. Okay. And the sum of it all, I was like, this is not going to work out, my guy. So I just like had a talk with him and I was like, hey, look, like, this is not a thing between us because you're a cool dude. But like with the cat, You said non-destructive. Already destroyed a chair. This is not going to work out. Like, I'm pretty sure
What do you
that's
say?
straight how I played it. But I'm like, the sum of all things, I do not need this apartment destroyed. You
Okay.
know, it's
What do you say?
my deposit, my name on this primarily because I was a primary resident. And I do not need destruction of property on my record or any of that. So, like,
What did he
I
say?
could not take that chance. He inelegantly took it as a, all right, fine, I'll move out kind of thing.
Okay.
He did get out of there within the next month. He never paid me back for the chair, by the way. Never did anything about that. And when he finally did move out, I wish I had saved pictures of the state of his room. He had cleaned nothing, so I had to clean everything by hand. There was like, I don't know what on the walls in his bedroom. And you're just gonna have to like take my word for this. I don't know if it was snot or something else just like wiped here and there on the walls, and more of the like random gray stuff, just spots and things. It's very clearly not like smoke ash because
I don't care. Why do I care about any of this? This is so fucking stupid. Like, it sounds like Thor is like a fucking typical annoying fucking gamer loser fucking whatever when he was younger. And he was a shitty roommate. And then you talk to him for like the first time and he's like, all right, I'll leave then. I guess I really don't even know how the conversation went. It's like, and then he left. Like, I don't even understand the problem. It's not like he's like, fuck you, I'm not gonna. He's like, all right, if we don't vibe, I'm not gonna leave. I'm gonna leave. I'm sure it's more loaded than that, but that's the gist of it. You moved in and then he was a shitty roommate, so he was like, all right, I'll leave. Like, why is this like worthy of why is this worthy of an internet conversation? Like, this seems so fucking stupid, does it not? This seems so dumb. And it's so funny because like the second half of the conversation, which we're going to watch, came out 2 weeks ago. And then this guy who made the video saved this part so that he can make another pirate software video later on in the cycle for more money. This is just so fucking stupid.
because there was no odor of it or anything.
That is just strange. That sounds like a cryptid.
It was very,
What?
very strange.
I don't care.
Right? It was
You're all
disgusting.
strange.
Like, I was masked up and gloved up and everything for all of this because, like, holy,
That sucks. You should have done more. But it just doesn't seem internet worthy.
gross. Lesson learned. Don't get guys as roommates, especially when you're a girl who gets the icks from this kind of thing.
So that's a lot of that
Okay.
personal stuff. Now, I think that is relevant. I do think so. This was, what, 10 years ago now? 15?
Forever, yeah.
10, 15, yeah. What is forever? See this? I don't like this either. Watch this.
Relevant. I do think so. This was, what, 10 years ago now? 15?
Forever, yeah. Quite some.
So
like, what did she say exactly? Why did we get an edit there?
this was, what, 10 years ago now? 15?
Forever, yeah.
Why did we get a cut forever? Because that insinuates that, like, what I'm hearing is that, like, she said the exact time, which might even have been more than 10 or 15 years ago, and for some reason you felt the need to cut it. It's just weird. How long ago was it? Why don't we have the exact time?
Quite some.
What?
So I'm not, again, this isn't to dismiss that. That
Like,
sounds absolutely horrific. You know, this was some of that old stuff, but
What?
that sounds absolutely,
Quite some.
so I'm not, again, this isn't to dismiss that. That sounds absolutely horrific.
Not really. It just sounds like annoying.
You know, this was some of that old stuff, but I really appreciate getting to hear it. If you have any information, like whether it be like even if you have text messages or emails or anything else to kind of corroborate that time, it'd be awesome. If you don't, that's, you know, we're just taking
Oh, there've been a lot of slick cuts. I wonder if I wonder why. I'm sure that it's intentional to make it look a little bit worse. It just seems like it's stupid. This whole thing is fucking dumb.
testimony is testimony. And I think it's just good to know, have some of that context getting into it.
I'll send you over some of the
not really.
screenshots that I also sent to some of my other coworkers, because like when all the pirate stuff like really started stirring, like we started sending stuff to each other. One of our other friends, he's another, we started because like,
Into it.
We got some text messages on the screen that are going to be super important, guys. Holy moly. All right, let's see what we got here.
I'll send you over
Let's see. Jason Thor Hall. So when I first met you, I was like, blank. And now getting to know you, I'm all like, blank. And today I was tired, so I was like, all blank. At DX, which was like, I don't know. Okay. All day at work. Here's a link. It's a bad thing. I want to go to work to just find more shit to fix. This is from 2011. This is 14 years ago. Okay. I slept so long, then played WoW and League all day as Heimerdinger and chilled hard while healing turrets. His passive is amazing. Define irony. Anna calling the apartment manager irresponsible because he's not making himself easily available. Also, she told me to keep $50 and pay her $450 back for her deposit if she does sign off today. She got back about the $247 she owes for renting half a month to the end of the day. Why does she think rent is free? Why did I wait on her instead of getting you there first? What is this? By the way, you signing today? If so, the manager may not have your key. It was supposed to be Anna's when she never signed off. I have a spare key up in the apartment. He'll let you in. Who is this person? This because what? Who? There should be Lowe's envelope on the top of my big dresser on the left wall by the closet. It'll have 2 keys, either in it, one in the apartment, one for the pool. If not signing today, no worries. Or if you want, bring stuff after work. Tell me if you'd come right after work, and I'll turn down possible OT. And I'll give you the keys when you arrive. I'll bring the keys for when you deposit the rents. Otherwise, even if you pay me before signing, just a reminder that I'm starting prorated rent on the day you sign or pay the deposit, which comes first. You'll have the key and residency if you pay before signing, since we have a 3-day visitor policy. And you can start moving before signing if you're going on a Saturday. I'm TLDR in the post. What does this matter? At this point, I'm just trying to say, place is yours. Let me know when signing, and GF, or give me the deposit at work, or some such with a heart. Don't forget to get all your parking regulation stickers and clickerness when you sign. I'm going to handle it this weekend, and yeah, your friend has a very odd view on reality. Okay, gotcha.
Some of the screenshots that I also sent to some of my other coworkers, because like when all the pirates.
So I only owe you $71 more bucks? No, as I said up front, you pay when you move in for the full month. Since you haven't stayed a full month in October, time assigning to the end of the month is what you are charged November 1st. It's like flip-flopping the rent. Full month for partial month stay. Partial month for full month stay. This is what all apartments do. You owe me $200 for the current month. The rent is paid before the time you stay there. So the partial month, $371, is due before November. Gotcha. Okay.
Stuff like really started stirring. Like we started sending.
So this is just them having a discussion about moving in. This
stuff to each other.
Wanted to inform you that I will be moving out on the 26th of this month, as I have now received confirmation to place. Okay, thank you for the notice. I haven't been saying anything because I didn't want to force you out. I wasn't sure how long it would take for you to find the right place. I know the terms seem bad, but I really didn't have any issues personally. I wasn't trying to give you the curve. Don't forget the utility bill will be December soon, and my chair needs to be replaced. Okay.
Our other friends. He's another person that played League.
What the fuck did we just see? What did that show us? It showed us a pretty cordial conversation. It showed us a perfectly reasonable conversation about him moving out. What were we supposed to get out of that? What did that do for us? This is so dumb. Cool beans, I guess.
With Jason at one point. Apparently also got raged at. But this guy is a master troll. This guy was also one of my best friends. Would print out a photo of Edward Cullen's face and tape it to the bottom of Pirate's mouse, so that whenever he would come back to his desk, he would wiggle his mouse to try to wake his PC, and he just couldn't wake his PC, so he'd have to flip his mouse over and be greeted with Edward Cullen's face. And you could just hear him scream across the floor.
It's good.
So you guys would engage in a little bit of fun trolling at work, so you had a decent relationship. So just to be clear, because this is important, you guys would rib Pirate Software, and you'd rib Pirate Software, and you didn't get punished for it, which means that there wasn't a horrifically toxic workplace culture where you couldn't feel like you could advocate at all. It just this whole thing is just stupid.
To know, so this wasn't he swooned everybody with his charisma, because I'm not gonna lie, the internet understands that. A lot of people are, he was in the good graces of most of the internet, literally.
I don't know, dude. This video makes me like Pirate Software, honestly. This video is so dumb.
Just a year ago. But you're saying, so even with that, and I think it makes sense based on his quote unquote work ethic or lack thereof, there were people that already were he was just kind of irritating.
And I feel like this is
what you just said. He was charismatic. Wait, what the fuck? Will you let this guy talk you into changing your whole perspective?
Why a lot of people aren't really talking about him, because there's several camps of us. Either people just legitimately.
I think it's because it's stupid. It makes you look stupid as fuck. Like, it makes you look dumb. Like, it's a waste of time and like potentially a threat of your job. Because, like, not because it's pirate software, because it's a work thing. You're like, oh, my coworker was a little annoying. Oh, let me go fucking shit my pants about it. I would fire the fuck out of you if I was like a game industry person and I saw this, or I would not hire you. Like, people don't understand this, but like shit like this makes people not want to like hire you or not want to work with you. Because then if you're going to do it here for a little bit of fucking clout on a channel, you don't even have a channel. For a little bit of clout, you're willing to go and play this fucking game that pirate software is like this really big bad boy. You're gonna fucking like go and talk about like your whatever's happening at work, some of the non-ideal stuff, which happens everywhere. Like, you're just showing that you can't be trusted. Like, you're an opportunist. It just seems stupid. What the fuck?
Didn't know him at the time, didn't care to know him, don't remember him, aren't even aware he exists.
Wait, what?
There's several camps of us. Either people just legitimately didn't know him at the time, didn't care to know him, don't remember him, aren't even aware he exists at this time. He was on no one's radar. There's no reason for him to be on anyone's radar right now. They have no clue who he is. There's people like me who had to work directly with him and are just so raged that they don't want to talk about him. There are his few friends who like may speak positively about him, but we don't really hear anything from them. But then there's also the few people who want to speak out, but they don't because they're afraid of the repercussions. And I feel like...
Speak out about what? You told us he was a bad roommate and then he moved out. And that he would be lazy at work after you admitted that you were also lazy at work. What's to come forward about? What the fuck is this? This isn't anything. This doesn't matter. There's nothing to come forward about. What?
Like, that's the majority of the people that I know too, because games industry is so small. A lot of people are still in games, so they don't want to talk about these things because, again, you know, like they don't want things to come back to them.
Is it even a matter
Yeah, that makes sense.
of, so does Jason's dad, does he have this like undying love and adoration for his son that is going to impact someone's work history? Is it just the fact that you would speak about someone's son?
No. So
I think it's the fact that you would speak about like whatever's going on at the workplace that's not even a big deal and you'd bitch about it. I think that's what it's about.
These guys, here's the thing about Joey Ray. I am not in his DMs at all about any of this because I respect him and I know...
Who's Joey Ray? Is that his fucking dad?
Like, at least in the past, about how he's felt about this thing. His entire mentality has been, if you have a problem with Jason, take it up with Jason. Like, he doesn't want to deal with any of that. He's not the kind of person who's, like, going to come to his rescue.
That sounds like the healthiest way for nepotism to be dealt with. That
makes you look incredibly stupid. I don't think that she understands that what she just said makes her look stupid, because before she was having a conversation about how nobody wanted to police Thor because they didn't want to fire him. So he was lazy and nobody did anything about it. And it's like, oh, okay. But now you're telling us that dad doesn't even like advocate for him in a way to like let him get away with everything. So it does, these statements don't like track up, especially since you wouldn't have to fucking fire somebody. You don't have to fire somebody because they make a mistake. You could just be like, hey, you know, can you get your shit? Hey, you know what I mean? Like his boss could be like, hey, listen, you know, you're doing this, that, and the other thing. You know, it's having a little bit of a problem. Got to work on that. Oh, okay. Like, what?
Like, I mean, Joey Ray sounds like, yeah, you shouldn't be going to me because that's how you propagate this. So I guess I was more asking, like, the people that shied away, is it simply because they knew that Thor was, you know, the son of him? Or was it because, like, there were also consequences because he was, was he protecting Thor in any step? Or was it just the fact that they were, you know, father and son?
A lot of people that aren't speaking up aren't doing it because they're afraid of Thor's followers. Actually, they're afraid of internet repercussions and internet people coming for them.
It has nothing to do with the dad.
Like,
this is so
legitimately. It
okay.
has nothing to do with his dad. So because his dad, like, especially anybody that knew him, like, at Blizzard while they were there, and those of us, like, who know him a little bit better outside of Blizzard, he's normal. He's just a dude. Like, he happens to have been an executive who worked at Blizzard forever. He's a cool guy. Don't get me wrong, but he's not somebody who's going to mess with people. That is not him. He is not like that. He would never do anything like that.
I just wanted to include that last part there because I think it's important to make a distinction that it wasn't like, you know, Joey Ray going out of his way to smite down anybody that would talk badly or...
Dude, if I was Thor's dad here, even if I was like, yeah, Thor deserves, you know, from a workplace perspective, should get punished based on his actions, I would probably blacklist you, honestly, because like you're overreacting. And you're just showing that you're not somebody that can work places. Like, listen, I've had issues with people before. There's no workplace that you go to that's like things are getting perfectly done well. Whatever, some nepotism happens. It is what it is. It's annoying in the moment, whatever. But to go online and turn it into a drama issue, it's just so fucking dumb and unnecessary. And it's just like, it's just cringe. It's just like, what are you doing? And what are you getting out of this? What are you getting out of this? Like, what is it that what are you getting out of this? You're not even like a YouTuber, so it doesn't even make sense for you to like get involved in petty, dumb fucking drama.
Report his son. I just really wanted to make sure that I was representing him in the same way that she was describing him. And just to reiterate on a final note, like, yeah, this stuff happened back in like 2011. Now, Pirate was like 24, 25 at around this time. So I still think, you know, Brain was pretty well developed at this point. You know, maybe he has changed over the last like truly...
Shut the fuck up. How old is this fucking baby ass bitch? Like, I don't understand, dude. He's 24 years old. He's acting like a jackass because he's got some nepotism. Whatever. It's not that big of a deal. How old is Quintino. Like, do you realize you make yourself look so weird when you do this? Have you ever, like, this guy's gotta be like a kid. How old is this kid? I need to know. I don't think that we're gonna know his age. Why does it matter? Because he's immature and hasn't worked a real job before. That's why it matters. Because it's annoying when you have young people that don't have any real life experience complain about dumb shit that's normal. I don't care.
Over a decade now. I think probably the most significant part of this video is just kind of pushing back on his claims that he didn't get the second job at Blizzard through nepotism when it looks very clearly based off of her testimony. Like, that's exactly what happened. But I'm curious.
So this is not a legitimate justifier to make this dumb shit video. We knew that his existence of his dad being a very important member of whatever gaming culture was enough for us to know that. This was just like fucking trying to you were just trying to sensationalize and continue the pirate software drama because it's giving you views. That's really what it was. That's why you didn't release the conversation in one bit. That's why you edited it down instead of just releasing the conversation.
Curious to hear what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below, and look for a Mudahar video coming out tomorrow. That's it. I'll see you guys later. Adios.
All right, we'll see what happens in a year with this guy. But okay, let's see this part 2, which she posted first. So I guess we'll get the preamble.
I believe that the reason that Kronos gave was insincere. That is my personal belief. You know, they're getting money on top of buying these bits. They're essentially getting bribed to do this. So to me, that's illicit.
What is her deal? Why is she saying these things? Is this her Twitter? Ex-Twitch employee, ex-Blizzard, pro gambler, ancient. Oh, dude, she's a she's a fucking content creator. That's why she's doing this. Holy fuck. She just decided to ruin her potential to ever work in the game field again so that she could be a fucking streamer? Is she even streaming? What is this? Recent broad? What are you doing?
Forgot he did. When I went to go look for receipts, I wasn't able to get them because he had already deleted his profile. Because I think he realized, oh shit, I talked about a lot of things that I probably shouldn't have because
Oh, this woman is disgusting. Not physically, she's okay looking. Although I will say it's a bad angle for your face just so you can get your tits in there because we know what you're doing. This is so stupid. What a fucking idiot. Holy fuck.
He expects for themselves.
What a loser. This is some loser shit.
You know,
because you know that's what that angle is about. What the fuck? What a loser, dude. She's a loser. She's a fucking... She quit her job at Blizzard to be a VTuber. So she could be a fucking VTuber. Okay? And that's what she's doing. She's trying to get Twitch followers by blowing up... by talking about drama. What a dumb way to do it. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm attacking a whistleblower and a woman at the same time. Absolutely, dude. I'm a terrible person. I'm a fucking asshole. This is ridiculous.
To me, that should absolutely be a bannable offense. But
What?
Twitch is not going to enforce it.
I don't
Recently,
care.
I posted a video talking about Pirate Software seeming to collude with his lead moderator Kronos to inflate and extend the duration of his hype train. Now, if you'd like more
Gotcha.
info on this situation, here's a link to said video. But to continue on, I had told you guys that I would potentially be speaking with a lawyer, as well as the fact that I'd reached out to someone that was working with Twitch. Now, that lead ended up falling short with the person working at Twitch.
I'm sorry, why were you doing that?
Train. Now, if you'd like more info on this situation, here's a link to said video. But to continue on, I had told you guys that I would potentially be speaking with a lawyer, as well as the fact that I'd
For what? Oh, Jesus Christ. For what reason do you need to speak to a lawyer?
reached out to someone that was working with Twitch. Now, that lead ended up falling short with the person working at Twitch, but I got very lucky and ended up running into someone who had worked at Twitch for 8 years and actually had expertise with the terms of service. Their name here is Eludiana, and they were also an ex-Blizzard employee as well as ex-Twitch. And now what's even more
Oh my God, that's how this whole thing started. The ex-Blizzard and Twitch employee, gotcha.
more interesting is they actually were working with Pirate Software when he worked at Blizzard.
Oh
Matter of
my
fact, she was
God.
his kind of higher up. But not only that, she was also an ex-roommate of his, and she has a lot to talk about. Now, for the sake of you guys, the viewers, I wanted to break this down. So in this video, we're specifically going to be going over the Twitch terms of service breakages. So that's what's going to be in the contents of this video. And then I'll be releasing a secondary video to go over her experiences with him as a roommate, as well as working with him. And you'll get to hear about how he would choose not to do his job and instead would browse Reddit.
Whoa.
Yeah, last since
I love that every one of the people watching these videos probably does that exact behavior, and they're like, what a bad guy. Oh my God. Oh. You know what I'm saying, dude?
seconds before we jump in, consider subscribing. Really helps out the channel, and it's just a click for you guys. And like the video if you end up finding the information useful, want to help boost it in the algorithm. It really does help me a great deal. But with all that being said, hope you enjoyed the video and enjoyed the interview. So let's kind of shift our focus over to talking about the more recent stuff. A recent video that I had done had kind of brought to light that there was some exchange DMs between Pirate Software and his lead moderator Kronos that are kind of, I would say, clearly implying that they were kind of working together. Matter of fact, even with the previous messages.
Do you think that Pirate Software does that daddy son roleplay with this guy? Not this guy on the screen, but with Kronos, because you know Kronos is like Thor's dad. No, oh, it's not. The fuck, I'm thinking of something else. Fuck, it's just a different god from a different mythology. Damn, I thought I had a funny joke going on there, but we didn't.
That Kronos showed, one of which is edited, and apparently he's just not available right now, but in the next few days I should be able to see when he edited that message. But regardless, this hype train was kept alive by, at the very least, from what we see here, Kronos. And I went through in that video and did quite a hefty amount of speculation, and where that specifically there was part of that with the terms of service, and that is kind of a bit of why we got in touch. If you could, so what is your experience with Twitch, the terms of service, things like that?
Okay, this is the fun part. So I was the sole UX writer for Twitch. What that means is I touched every department at Twitch. That includes things like terms of service enforcement.
She was a what? Apparently a UX writer is somebody who crafts the words users see when digital products like websites, apps, and guiding them through the experience. So she's like a bot. So the problem, okay, so this is not interesting, just to be clear. This is your job is to interpret the words for whatever they're communicating, like their terms of service, in a way that is seen as more palatable for the users. And I just want to say that because it's not a big job, in the sense where like you might be working with a lot of different people, but it doesn't mean that you're doing anything. It's basically it sounds like basically what it is. It's like, okay, hey, you know, your mom is like, oh, hey, you know, I got to go to the bathroom, and then I got to go out to eat, and then we got to do this, and by this, blah, 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 and you're like, all right, mom, let me just like write that down in like 2 fucking words, you know? It's like, okay, hey, we're going to go to the bathroom, and then we're going to head on over to you. Like, right? Like your mom asked you to craft the text for you, and you craft the text. This doesn't really seem like a huge thing.
What that means is I touched every department at Twitch. That includes things like terms of service enforcement. That includes all of the contracts. I dealt a lot with trying to convince a lot of the teams that they needed to be more explicit with their terms. And A lot of the time they weren't, because they wanted to be as concise as possible, which makes sense because, users don't want to read anything. Like, that is just a thing.
Oh, what the
So
fuck?
we have to have an understanding in the terms of service that things need to be taken more or less literally. When we're
Okay.
speaking on terms of inflating numbers, we mean things like view counts. It means the actual functional numbers that would actually matter for metrics. Like, it has nothing to do with things like donations,
Or a
bit
hype train
counts,
level.
or a hype train level.
Okay.
Like, it should not have anything to do with that, because hype train is one of those very pay to win systems. If you
Right.
can pay to win, you pay to win. It doesn't matter where it comes from.
Okay.
Now, there is something to be
But
said
what?
about
What?
if Pirate himself was using an alt account to inflate the numbers, that could potentially be an argument. But if it was
Okay.
his mods, it is not unusual
So why are we? So I like. Okay. Okay.
for
Gotcha. I
mods
don't care.
themselves to contribute to hype trains. So if they could do that in the first place, they are more than welcome to sustain the hype train.
So it's not typical for a mod to go out of their way to create an alternate account to do this thing.
Yeah, there are, and I don't want to say this is normal. Like,
Sure.
this is not something that everybody does. However, something that some people will elect to do, especially if they want to protect their privacy. You'll see this with, let's say, e-girls. All right, like, people will create alt accounts to give huge donations to certain accounts that they don't necessarily want to have attention drawn to their mains with, whatever their reasoning may be behind it. I believe that the reason that Kronos gave was insincere. That is,
Who cares? Who the fuck is this person? They literally they reworded the explanation of the They reworded the explanation of the TOS. That's what this person does. It's not like a huge fucking thing.
my personal belief.
I actually agree with you, and the reason that I agree with you is because 100 tier 1 subs had already been donated by his main account, which he said as much
Wait a minute, I have an
about.
ability
And
I forgot
also,
about.
if you're creating an alternate account, you do not say, "This is my alternate account."
Which, yeah, he's a grown ass man. He can do what he wants with his money. I don't think I've ever heard of a grown ass man receiving a paycheck and then taking part of that check and handing it back to his boss.
I don't. Okay.
But I don't.
Right, so they're just trying to say like, oh, Pirate was probably the one who paid. I don't care, dude. Like all these systems are like fucking view botting. You know what I mean? Like I don't necessarily. Oh fuck, I don't necessarily care about this. Like all these people are fucking view botting on all these platforms. Like whatever, dude. Like it's funny and it's cringe that he decided to do that because he's a fucking he's like a loser. But outside of that, it's such a nothing burger.
I digress. That's just a goofy, funny little thing.
It's a goofy thing. And honestly, if he wanted to lie about it, he could say, "I wanted the emote on 2 accounts."
Yeah, there are so
liar.
many better excuses. Yeah. Okay, so this was the first main point that I had brought up, and so the reason that I was looking at this specific point here was the offering to sell, trading, bartering, or transferring bits to other users to Twitch in exchange for a real or virtual currency. Now, the reason I use this is because, and I actually didn't know this at the time, but the assumption was based on the the verbiage that they used in their discussion. It implied that they were trying to get the best return for the streamer, which would end up being better for Kronos when it turned. Now, I did just find out recently that it was established for that hype train that the moderators were going to be receiving half of that hype train's proceeds.
Oh my god.
That was announced
Whoa,
publicly.
that's crazy.
Matter of fact, it's on the Discord.
This is crazy.
I now have access and screenshots of that message. And so Kronos, alongside the other moderators, knew full well that they would be receiving half the money that was being sent here. So now that 80% share makes a lot more sense that they were discussing it, because that meant that they were going to get more money back after giving it to the hype train.
Yeah,
Hey, Thor's paying 50%, baby.
but those returns actually, I think, are with respect to the transaction
Oh, I
value
just
of
fucking
bits,
cucked
because
myself.
there's an exchange rate. The return on the actual purchase of bits versus what the streamer gets, because the streamer gets 100% of the bits when they're directly donated. The difference is if they're donated through an extension, which I think they were talking about extensions. If they're donated like through the soundboards and things like that,
Sure.
then the extension maker obtains a portion of that.
Is that the 20% or the 18%, 82%?
That's
Who cares?
whichever percent. I can't remember exactly the percent, but that's where the extra cut comes from. Otherwise, the bits are a one-to-one donation. So if you donate 100 bits after purchase to a streamer, they get 100 bits.
Interesting. Okay, so
Because you've already paid that transaction fee.
that makes sense. So then in turn, well, I think we can then chalk that up. So the reason that the bit percentage that they were talking about was brought up is because they were using text-to-speech. Would that have been a third party?
believe So.
Okay.
But then for the other terms here, if you want me to explain these.
Yes,
like
please.
the real or virtual currencies. This pertains to something like Robux. That's real or virtual currencies, like any of those virtual currencies.
So like giving
WoW
bits
Gold.
to a creator in exchange for Robux.
You're giving me bits for WoW Gold. Can't do that.
Again, so the main reason that I was focusing on is like for that real currency. So I would say what you're arguing here, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that even though Kronos at this point understood that he would be getting a return of the money that was donated through the hype train, whether it be through bits, donations, etc., subs, even with him knowing that fact and then donating to the stream, in his head, or the way that he's understanding it, or maybe that pirate, or, you know, just for the hypothetical, they know that they are donating these bits, and in return, they're going to be receiving half of the funds that come back, or as that's dispersed among the moderators. Even with that kind of like thought process, that doesn't change the fact that at a fundamental level on the Twitch service, it was not a direct exchange for finances.
That's what I'm worried about. Like, that's
Okay.
the way that Twitch should enforce.
Okay. I feel like there's too much energy here for such a nothing burger. Right? Like, this is supposed to be, haha, Pirate Silver is kind of a loser, and this guy's talking about getting in touch with lawyers, and then they find the person who helps them write the TOS, but not really. And they're like, hey, let's shit our fucking pants over it. You know, it seems so fucking stupid.
It, but that's not how this is written.
Okay.
That's the massive thing about the terms of service. These are the things that I was constantly fighting while I was at the company, because they need to be more explicit about this. Because yes, they are making these bits donations in lieu of a payout later on. Like, they know they're going to get paid back, and not just reimbursed. They're getting a paycheck for this work. You know, they're getting money on top of buying these bits. They're essentially getting bribed to do this. So to me, that's illicit. To me, that should absolutely be a bannable offense.
Okay.
But Twitch is not going to enforce it
I wouldn't either. It just seems like a big, stupid nothing burger. What?
because they were not using bits to exchange directly for money.
Even
Like,
if this is like, okay, well, we'll work around the rule. There's no, well, we're not planning to go forward and like edit the rule to make it more specific because they prefer conciseness over coveringness.
they didn't send 10,000 bits for an Apple gift card.
That's
It's
all
messed-
this is planned to cover.
It is seriously messed up.
Okay, well, totally
I
fair.
genuinely hope that I am wrong. The way that this is written and the way that this has been enforced, unless there is an actual transaction taking place, there is no way that this would be enforceable.
Okay.
It really does suck, because I completely agree with you. That is how it should be enforced. There was collusion.
Why do you guys want to get him banned so bad? You're making it. The guy made an artificial hype train, and you guys are acting like he deserves to lose his platforms. This is so stupid.
There was a payout here.
Yes,
Yeah.
the thing that makes it worse for me isn't that is happening. It's just how that ends up incentivizing a viewer, someone that is potentially willing to donate, how that impacts their psyche when it goes into, do I donate to this person? Because that is just like, even with me.
Shut up. No, you're not. That's dumb what you're saying. What you're saying is stupid. What?
When I was starting out my channel, it is enticing to pump my numbers up, whether it be through ads, whether it be through like any sort of type of viewership, because when you approach a number where, like, for subscribers, you hit 100K, you have a check mark next to your name. You have 100,000 views on a video that's gone out in a couple hours. People are more incentivized to click on it because of that, you know, appealing to the popularity of something. There's kind of like a guaranteed buy-in that people understand, oh, this person's reputable, and you can see that proof by other people being willing to follow, listen, donate, etc.
Yeah, not only that, but
Okay.
does this just mean that we can bot hype trains now to keep them going in perpetuity.
And then they also are rewarded. The viewers are rewarded with the Kappa Infinite emote, with other rewards along the way. And now there's also a popular, like he got a news article when he broke the 106 world record. There's a lot to gain by also stimulating this. Good to hear that from someone who has that experience with Twitch. I'm glad it's not just
no, we're on the same page. Like I regularly raged at this company. I was one of the few people who is actually.
You regularly raged?
Like I regularly raged at this company.
Why? For what reason? Why? What made you rage at the company?
I was one of the few people who is actually embedded in streaming. Like I was one of the few people who was a moderator for heavier partners and also a regular streamer on the platform. And it's things like this where like you need to clearly outline what is going on here. Like what do these terms mean? Because people are going to exploit the system.
The engage in viewership tampering, and then you say such as. So the way that I read that is those are examples and not fully encompassing the entirety of what that plans to cover. Because again, from my perspective, when I was
coming and pissing, baby.
First reading it, I was going broad. And so in my head, when I see viewership inflation, that for me also at that time included a hype train's level, because you would assume the assumption is those are the viewers that are donating in, and that isn't the moderators, that isn't, working together to do that.
I wish. Part of viewership tampering is anything that can play into your stream analytics. So we're talking things like chat activity. Like that is another metric that can be tampered with.
Is revenue from donations not considered?
No, because it's not viewership.
Interesting.
Okay.
Straight revenue. Yeah.
And so correct me if I'm wrong. It sounds like the main reason that it's super.
Why the fuck would Twitch care if you decide to inflate your hype train levels? That just gives them money. Who gives a fuck?
Focused. It has nothing to do with revenue. So even like a hype train level, as like we were kind of looking at, I think that was more from a consumer perspective. It sounds like the reason we're so focused on the viewership counts is because that's coming from a brand.
Because ad revenue.
Yes. So that's going to look bad, and that's going to end up with Twitch losing money if they don't enforce making sure people aren't botting views, because then those aren't actual returns on advertisers. This
can make Twitch lose their own monetization from advertisers. This can make them lose ad partners.
That makes sense. In 10.2 here, this is against the terms of service, and you will not impersonate any person or entity, falsely claim an affiliation with any person or entity, access the Twitch services accounts of others without permission, etc., misrepresent the source, identity, or content of information transmitted via the Twitch services, or perform any other similar fraudulent activity. So my perspective on this, my understanding, the reason that I had brought this up is because Kronos, who I would consider at this point a public figure, because of he has his own socials, he is the lead moderator for
He's impersonating a different person because he has a private account. Okay, cool.
Pirate. It was their stream, so I think for all points considered, the viewership of that treats him as a public figure as well.
This guy's trying so hard to get these people in official trouble for something that's so fucking stupid.
He had an alternate account that he misrepresented as someone who knew Kronos, who spoke highly of Pirate as if, they were a viewer and they donated in that sense. And so technically, yes, it is a false affiliation with Kronos because this is Kronos himself. He faked having a friend. But the more, that's funny. But the more specific thing, right, was the misrepresenting the source, identity, or content of information transmitted via the Twitch services. He misrepresented, he faked being somebody else.
Yeah, and sadly, this tends to only work the opposite direction. So lying upward is what you get in trouble for. Lying downward, you do not get in trouble for. And they see that as trying to protect your real identity. So it's not hiding who you are because I'm a moderator and I can't let people know I'm a moderator. They see that as, yes, you want to not have people know that you're a moderator because then they might try to cause problems because you're a moderator.
They're not looking at it as I'm obfuscating where this money is coming from to keep this hype train alive. Because again, this is also, admittedly, this is a niche thing in comparison to Twitch's general audience, but they're more specifically focused on some people don't want their identity, and they typically, and so, I mean, the rule is in place not to avoid potential fraudulent activity by pretending to be somebody else. It is to obfuscate, to protect the identities of people who don't want to be harassed.
Yeah, the fraud would be if he was posing as Asmongold and saying, I am making
it's like co-signing it.
Yeah, of course you'd think that, because it's hey, some people that are famous figures might want some anonymity. Oh, God forbid. Okay. This is okay.
Co-signing a crypto and putting a big name behind it. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
And I mean this. Thank you, because these are corrections to the arguments that I made. But more than that, it's very good to know that like a bit of an understanding of the intentions of these TOS guidelines as opposed to how I interpreted them based on the situation. It's cool to know that that's where they're coming from, and it makes more sense given the context.
Yeah. And honestly, like this is how they are supposed to be interpreted, because this is how they were written to be understood.
As a side note, you said that you wanted to show me a bit of proof that you two were working together. Do you have that with you?
Oh, yes, I do. So this is an interesting artifact. This was the Platform Services yearbook that they did one year. This was 2013.
2013. There it is. Okay.
I'm not sure how many of these they produced because they were rather expensive, but this is us right there.
Okay. And so we've got, and it's kind of grainy. Would you be able to send me a photo of it too? I could probably just throw it up on the screen as well.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you're right next to each other. You're both halls.
We're right there. We're both halls. Hence the presumed siblingness, I guess. But his title there is Associate.
See, guys, if you watched this first, you'd be a little confused by that comment.
Test engineer.
Well, thank you so much for spending this time like going over this. Like truly, I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for the time.
Truly important
So to my
stuff.
complete and utter dismay, I was wrong about every single Twitch terms of service. Where I thought it could be broken, it ends up being that the reason that those were written the way that they were was for a completely different reason.
You mean to protect their brand? Yeah. Who would have thought?
And honestly, I kind of expected that I'd at least be wrong on.
It's still really weird and cringe that you ever considered going to find a lawyer over this. For what? To get rid of pirate software? Like what?
A couple of them, but you know, maybe I guess not all of them. But it's good to know why these terms of service were written the way they were. Moreover, why there probably isn't going to be any consequences sent pirates' way from Twitch. I mean, at the end of the day, their bottom dollar isn't being impacted by this more than it's actually being a positive for them. They're making more money by allowing this kind of behavior. And from how I understand it, Twitch is still working at a loss. So any way that they can make money, they're going to do it. And they're probably not going to address this. But I'm curious to hear
Why would they?
what you guys think. Let me know in the comments down below. Hope you enjoyed this segment of the interview. Look for more coming in the future here. And I'll see you guys later. Adios. Peace. Bye.
I don't know what the fuck that was, but all right, that was a video.